Hi guys. Just a quick discussion about this week's challenge and why how matters. It really has been a rough week for a lot of people energetically. I don't know why. The full moon felt like it had been all week, like every day was a full moon. In reality, it's tomorrow. And I think this is really just the tail end of all those 5 planets and the Mercury retrograde and all that jazz. But this week's lesson came home to roost for me when I was in class Tuesday. Muay Thai is my favorite. Totally. And it was a bigger class than normal, which was really cool. A few of the people that had been in the night classes came to some morning classes, which is nice. So it was like different people, And one of the guys I had recognized, say hello, you introduce yourself. There was a new guy, so you kind of do the circle of introductions and that sort of thing. Well, after class, we were just kind of hanging out, deciding who was going to spar who, if anyone wanted to work bags, that sort of thing. And I ended up just kind of sitting and watching and, just learning because Carly kicked my butt. And I was miserable. My leg was killing me. It still hurts today. I think, I don't know, it's just one of those things where you're in the right place at the right time. So I was sitting there, gentleman next to me had worked the bag for a little bit, came back, and even when he came into class, because I recognized him from one of the night classes, he just looked tired, drained, worn down. Do you know what I mean? He didn't look bad. He didn't have bags under his eyes. He didn't look, just his posture and like just his energy was very not the him that I had seen before. And so I was nice, was talking to him, and just kind of, he's like, oh, well, I work nights. And I used to come to the morning classes, but it's easier if I'm awake. At the night classes, I'm more awake. I'm like, oh, well, that's cool. I understand, He was like, it's been a bit rough lately. I figured I'd come in and work off some stress. And I've been sleeping well. I was like, oh, well, we're happy to have you here. It's always nice to have, a happy face. And he went on to talk about, I asked him what he did. Because almost everyone that works nights at the gym is EMS, firefighter, cop, something, security or army or military, that sort of thing. And he was a big guy, so I kind of assumed that he would be one of the military guys. And he was like, no, I actually work in insurance. And I was like, what on earth do you work the night shift for insurance for? He was like, well, it's kind of a specialty thing. And I was like, I'd actually like to know. I'd actually like to know. And he was like, well, what we do is we extract people from foreign countries if there's ever like an issue. He's like, last week I had to get a whole group of people out of Kazakhstan because there was a bombing or a threat of a bombing or something like that. And I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. That's the coolest thing like I've ever heard of. That's really neat. You're like search and rescue. He's like, yeah, it's really rewarding. He's like, but when you're in the midst of it, it's really, really difficult. And I was like, oh, I'm really sorry. He's like, yeah, I worked 120 hours the last 2 weeks. I was like, wow. He's like, but they all got home safe. And I was like, well, thank God for you. Thank God for that. And he told me, he's like, it's hard. I have a 1-year-old son. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. It's nice to have family. He's like, yeah, one of my coworkers got a call for someone that was trying to have his wife's body shipped home. She had died in some sort of accident or something in a foreign country. The child had survived, the mom had not. So the husband was trying to call to get her body back. And like, you just feel your heart squish, because as a mother, as a parent, you're like, I can't even imagine how I would feel, you know? I would be torn up, bro. I don't know that I could do that. And he was like, the lady that answered the call just burst into tears, and, you know, and I was like, man, I'm really sorry that you have to go through that, but I'm sure that all of these people appreciate all your work and all your effort. He's like, yeah, they do. You know, we get calls, we get cards, you know, and I'm like, yeah, but like you really make a difference. You saved those people's lives from Kazakhstan, you know? He was like, yeah, I guess. I'm like, no, not you guess. You did. You literally did that, you know? And he was like, yeah, it's nice to hear. He's like, when you're on the phone and you're trying to make all these arrangements and you're trying to keep people calm, you know, it doesn't always seem real. He was like, I haven't really met anyone that I've, you know, helped. So, you know, it doesn't always feel real. And I was like, you're a hero. You know, you're a hero. I don't care what anybody else says. You save people. You help people, you know. You do the work that people like me, I couldn't do it. You know, I would never be able to do that. And, you know, he thanked me. He was like, it's really nice to see someone with your positivity and with, you know, your just sunshine on a rainy day, because it was a nasty day. And I was like, you know, don't thank me. You're the one saving people. He was like, you know, I don't want to do this forever. He's like, I kind of don't even want to do this now. And I was like, well, what else do you want to do? I'm like, surely there's something else that you can do with this kind of, you know, work record. Maybe you could, you know, do something. He's like, yeah, you know, it sounds silly, but I want to have a juice bar. And it's funny because we had been joking about the owner of the gym getting a juice bar in there. That way all of us would quit our sodas and, you know, all the bad stuff, and, you know, have some healthy stuff. I was like, you should talk to Eddie about that. I was like, if you're serious, I was like, there's a guy that normally comes. His name is Nathan, and he owns a bunch of small businesses. It would be really good for you to talk to him about that, you know? He was like, yeah, I don't know how much longer I can do this. He was like, and they had a 401k person, a retirement person, you know, that talks to you about, you know, setting money away for, you know, when you're done with your career. And he was like, he said most people only save $43,000. He's like, I couldn't live off of that with a kid and what, you know. And I was like, hey, I hear you. You're preaching to the choir, dude. I got nothing. And I think he was just feeling the stress, you know. It's one thing to have to do that to work, and then someone telling you, you know, you're not going to have enough money to retire, then it just kind of weighs you down. And it was really hard to see someone who is usually so happy and like joking and jovial to just be done, you know, done. And he told me, he was like, I'm really glad I came to class today. He was like, I feel, you know, better. He's like, but it was really nice being able to talk to you today. And I was like, hey, you know, I'm here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday most of the time. I'm like, and I love small business, so I would love to help you if you're serious about doing something. I'd love to help you, you know. And I think I gave him the one thing that everybody needs when we're like that. Give him hope, you know. And whether he decides to follow his business idea or, you know, maybe I hope he finds something else, because he really seemed burnout. He really seemed burnout. And I think I've met his wife before. I think she had come to one of the classes I went to just to kind of see what it was. It was Muay Thai, not Jiu-Jitsu, it was Muay Thai. And a very nice young woman. It would really suck to hear if something had happened to him. And that's what frustrates me the most, is that there are so many people that do jobs like that. Firemen, the medical people, the doctors, you know, the cops, that you hear them talking about the stress and how they don't know how they're going to deal with it. And they don't really They don't really want to deal with it. You know, they're done. They need a break. They need a break. And a lot of those people don't seek help. And that's hard. You know, asking for help isn't shameful. But the point, besides, you know, being there to help somebody, is that the how matters. If he really wants to get out, he needs to plan a how. He has a family. He has an idea. But he needs to plan a how. He needs to, you know, obviously set aside money. He needs to make a plan. He probably needs to find a business partner. Sorry, still sinusy. But he could get out. You know, it would take some time. It would take work. And that is the point of the how. You know, the what, the big thing. He wants out. He has an idea. There are things that he would like to pursue. It's your what. Why, he already has his why. He's burnt out. He's frustrated. He wants to do something else. The how. The how is the reality of making things happen. That is the how. How is powerful. You know, we can allow the universe to intercede. Maybe I was that interception for him. Maybe I was the reminder. You can't get out. You have to do the work. You have to make a plan. Maybe the opportunity to meet Nathan would be the interception, you know. But if he doesn't do the work, it doesn't matter. And that is why the how is so powerful. Because you're putting out your intentions to do the work. You're making a plan to do the work. And then you just have to do the work. It seems so simple, but so many people don't do it. So many people get the what, and that's it. Like, oh, I got $1 million idea. Great. Go do it. Go do it. You know, I have a long list of bucket lists. Well, why are you saving in a bucket? Do one a year. Do one a month. Depending on what your budget has, right? Or your allowable time off. Do it. I have so many people that are like, I want to write a book. I'm like, go write it. And they're like, well, I really want to talk to somebody. I'm like, no, write. Do it. Do it. By making the effort, you're telling the universe that this is for me. This is for me. This is what I want. I'm willing to put the work in. Help me be successful. You know, there are people that are like, I want to find a publisher and publish my book. Well, you have to write it first. You have to write it first. Oh my goodness. If you want to write, write. If you want to paint, paint. I mean, do the work. Do the work. You have to do the work. It helps if you have a plan. It helps if you have the what. It helps if you have the why. The why helps you with your drive, you know? When I got brutally got my butt handed to me Tuesday, the why of going to class Wednesday was, I'm not giving up. I'm not a quitter. It hurts like a son of a witch. I'm going to class. That's my why. I want to pursue this. I'm going to class. Yeah, I had a great excuse, man. My leg is black and blue. Like, bad. It hurts, but guess what? I popped some ibuprofen and I went to class. That's what we do. When you really want something, you go after it. When you only half-ass want something, you make excuses. That's the reality of life. That's the reality. And a lot of people don't pursue stuff because they are afraid. And that makes me so mad. I'm like, why are you wimping out? Why are you wimping out? You have this in the bag. You have your what. You have your why. Do it. Just do it. Make a how. Just do it. Do it. Please do it. You're making my brain explode. Some people feel better with a plan. I like having a plan. Having a plan makes me feel more secure. So that when I'm not feeling motivated, I look at my lists, I look at my plans, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I really should be doing this. And I go do it. That's how that works. I want a job. I keep sending out resumes. I keep checking the listings. I don't just sit home and I'm like, well, I'm going to wait for a job to come to me. You got to put the effort in. If you want a significant other, You have to put the effort in. You have to put the effort in. You have to put the effort in. If you want a child, you know, a lot of people struggle with infertility. A lot of people, you have to go to the doctor's appointments. You have to do what they tell you. You have to do the awful shots. You have to do these things. Nothing is going to happen until you put the effort in. The how is the direction for your guidance to go. That's what the how is for. And it is very powerful. And it is scary because a lot of times we're like, well, I think I know how I want to do this. And the plan changes. Man, life changes all of the time. Your how can be flexible. That's fine. It's fine. Your why should be stable. Your why should be static until you reevaluate, right? And that's fine. But if you don't have a how, you kind of sit around on your butt, miserable in your job, saying, you know what? I really don't want to be here. I'm really burnt out. I need to get out. And that's it. That's what you say. You don't say, here is my 5-step plan. These are the action items that I need to do to get out of this job and be happy, to follow my passion, to do what I want to be doing. So many people are just sitting around miserable. And that drives me nuts. Life is too short. Life is so too short. Please follow your passion. Please invest in yourself with the who, why, how. Please. You deserve it. You do, absolutely. You deserve to not be miserable. You deserve to follow your passion. So make a plan. Even my little sister's miserable in her job. She came home yesterday and I was like, hey, I want to catch up with you. Do you have some time to talk? And so we talked. We exchanged our stories for the day, what had been going on with who, and gossip and the kids and, you know, all that stuff. And I was like, well, what about you? She was like, I hate my job. It's like, you know, it's $14 an hour, though. Can't hate it that bad. You know, you don't have to bring work home. Can't hate it that bad. I was like, then, you know, I keep telling her, you need to make a plan to get out. If you really don't like it, if you really hate it, you need to make a plan to get out. That's my best advice. I hated my job, so I found a new one. And then I got out of my own one. That's what you do. It's what mature people do. Mature people have to do. Gracious. I love you guys. Thanks for tolerating all my goop. It's finally coming out of my head. Thank the Lord. And everyone's getting healthy and happy again. I hope you are too. The full moon is tomorrow. If we survive this, man, there's nothing we can't survive. Legitimately, nothing we can't survive. I love you guys. Have an amazing day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.